Hello, Husker fans, and welcome to another edition of Sports Beat. I'm your host, Yao Bonsu, and we have a jam-packed show for you tonight. We'll start on the hardwood, discussing the opening weeks of the NBA. We then go to NASCAR to recap a thrilling championship. And after that, we are joined by wrestling captain Ross McFarland live in studio. We'll then take you through a dazzling display of athletics with our Pride Top 5. And finally, we will wrap with our Pride Weekly update and crown our newest athlete of the month. Don't go anywhere because Sports Beat starts right now. The NBA season is young. The Knicks are 5-5 right now. Good enough for ninth in the Eastern Conference. Here to break down the season so far is Mikey Dent and Dylan Brett. Guys, the conversation starts with Julius Randle. He's averaging 18 points per game this year, but he's shooting 34% from the field. If you take away his rookie year where he only played one game, that's a career low. So, Dylan, what does Julius Randle have to do to overcome his struggles?
I think it all boils down to just playing within himself and not trying to do too much out there. I mean, there's no reason for Julius Randle to have a higher usage rate than Jalen Brunson. There's no reason for Julius Randle to be taking 20, 22, 25 shots a game. That's why that 18 points per game can be very misleading. And as you touched on, that field goal percentage is not up to snuff for what we're supposed to be seeing as a first-tier star in the NBA.
Well, what we see all the time in the NBA is that volume scorers never lead teams to championships. Julius Randle right now is trying to be a volume scorer, right? So he's coming out, he's attempting all these shots, he's shooting 26% from three. But here's the thing, though. He can get boards, he can get assists. He's getting over 10 rebounds a game. He's getting over 5 assists a game. If he plays like a point forward, which he's more than capable of doing, we've seen a lot of success from this in 2021. We saw him average over 20 a game last year. We've talked about him being an all-star caliber player for the past half decade. The talent is there. He just needs to play to his strengths. He's not playing to his strengths right now.
When your all-NBA talent is struggling, it's kind of an opportunity for the younger guys to step up. So, Dylan, which of the younger guys need to step up for the Knicks to remain consistent?
I think a lot of people will look at guys like R.J. Barrett to potentially step up. Obviously, he's kind of the third option on this team. But I'm looking towards those young shooters on the bench, specifically guys like Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley. R.J. is going to get you his 20 points a night. He's proving to be more consistent this year. But what doomed the Knicks in the playoffs last season against the Miami Heat? Shooting from downtown, consistently knocking down open looks. I need to see more from IQ and Grimes in the consistency department.
Well, the thing is, you mentioned a lot of people are going to say R.J. Barrett. I'm one of those people that's going to say R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett is the third option on this team right now, but I think he has the potential to be a second or even potentially a first option down the line. You look at the other two people drafted in his class ahead of him, Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. They are the stars of their team. Their teams are counting on them. We can't say that the Knicks are completely reliant on R.J. Barrett, but I bet a lot of Knicks fans would like to be able to say that. R.J. Barrett's averaging 22 a game this year. You can pencil him in for 20 a game, but you need to pencil him in for more than that. You need the consistency, and you need him to show the prospect that he had been. He's still a young player. A lot of people forget this, just out of the 2019 draft class.
R.J. Barrett, 23 points per game. That's a career high. So what if R.J. Barrett doesn't take the next step? What if Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley aren't great behind the arc? Dylan, what route do you take? Do you build around these younger players, or do you look to trade for a star?
Well, let me tell you one thing. Yeah, the fans are going to be unhappy either way because there's a large contingent of Knicks fans that want to hold on to that young talent, guys like IQ, Grimes, RJ, and there's a lot of fans out there that want to go after those first-tier stars. The Joel Embiid name's been thrown around a lot. Ultimately, I see this as a no-win situation for the Knicks because the market is just not optimal for trading for a superstar right now. I mean, teams are asking for R.J. Barrett, multiple picks. So if the asking price is that high, I cannot, in good faith, advise a team to give up their entire future for one player.
The Knicks are in an impossible situation right now. They're stuck in mediocrity. And it's never okay for the fan bases to be okay with that, right? Say, for example, me. I'm on a scholarship here, right? If I'm bringing home C's every semester for every class, right? You get a C here and there, fine. But when it's always a C, as it's always been for the Knicks, C, mediocre, you're stuck there. It's not acceptable. The fans are fed up. They're going to continue to be fed up. And you have to make a move for a star. So whatever star becomes available, as you mentioned, Joel Embiid, if Zion Williamson becomes available, there's been a lot of speculation about him going to New York since, of course, the 2019 draft lottery. the Knicks have to make a splash because we've seen time and time again, too, this front office cannot develop young talent.
The timing is kind of poor. Joel Embiid, 33 points per game. That leads the league. But I want to talk about the Nets now. First full year under Jack Vaughn. He took over for Steve Nash in November of last year. Dylan, what are the expectations for Brooklyn?
I think this year is going to be a more telling year than any for Jacque Vaughn with the New York Nets or the Brooklyn Nets, because obviously there's not a lot of star power there to build around. So this is going to be a year where I look at Jacque Vaughn and say, what can he do with the pieces he's given? How well can he fit them together? And I think what he's able to do this year, and I think the play-in is a very realistic expectation for the Nets, is going to be a telltale sign of how his tenure in Brooklyn is going to go.
Expectations for the Nets this year, like I said, for the Knicks, a C. But the fans will be happy with it because you look at it, they have Cam Thomas, there's a lot of silver lining there. You have Mikal Bridges, there's a lot of silver lining there. But they're not in a spot where they're going to compete for a playoff spot, maybe get the 10th seed for the play-in, but you're not going to be making any type of run at any point in time. You don't have your own picks right now. You have to build from the ground. If you can't get it done with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, I don't care what star you trade for, they're not going to be able to get it done.
Brooklyn, their previous 3 games, 3 different leading scorers. And you mentioned Cam Thomas. Before his injury, he was averaging around 27 points per game. That led the team. So, Dylan, can Cam Thomas beat a guy on a championship team?
I'm going to say absolutely not for the time being, mainly because of his total ineptitude, lack of effort, whatever you want to call it, on one half of the floor. You cannot be the guy on a winning team in the NBA if you're not willing to make that commitment to defense. He's second to last on the team in defensive box plus minus. That is not conducive to being a superstar player at all. Sure, he can score at will. He can create for himself. I'm struggling to see him creating for his teammates as well. Obviously, Ben Simmons helped a lot in that department. But I can't see Cam Thomas being the guy when the commitment to defense just is not there.
The best case scenario for a guy like Cam Thomas, to compare to another New York athlete, is Carmelo Anthony later on in his career. I don't see Cam Thomas becoming a superstar, and you can't win a championship if you don't have a superstar. So if Cam Thomas is going to take that jump, fine, but he has to take the jump, like you said, on more than one side of the floor, and he hasn't done that to this point.
Cam Thomas, ankle injury. He will be reevaluated next week. Thank you, gentlemen. Meanwhile, NASCAR completed its Cup Series championship over a week ago. Nick Velomachia is here in studio to break it all down.
Thanks, Yao. Taking a turn to the track, NASCAR recently held their 2023 NASCAR Cup Series championship race. While only 4 racers could have outcome with this cup, it was the driver of number 12 car, Ryan Blaney, who came out on top. Entering Phoenix Raceway, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Kyle Larson, and eventually champion Blaney all advanced from the round of 8 and were the only racers eligible to win the NASCAR championship. This year's race featured the youngest championship forever. Larson was the only former champion among them, while Bell was the only returner from last year's top 4. Despite his best efforts, Christopher Bell was the first of the NASCAR Cup Series title contenders to follow contention at Phoenix. His day would end abruptly while in 6th place as he blew a brake rotor and slammed into the Turn 3 wall. With just 10 laps remaining in the NASCAR Cup Series championship, Ryan Blaney emerged in 2nd as Kyle Larson followed behind at 3rd, with William Byron close behind in 4th. While Blaney was not the first to cross the finish line as the checkered flag waved, he was the first among the top 4, securing his first ever NASCAR championship. The post-race madness ensued quickly for Blaney as the championship celebrated in traditional NASCAR fashion with a burnout on the front stretch. Blaney's would not only be the first championship of his career, but brought back-to-back cup titles for his team, Roger Penske, as he followed teammate Joey Logano's 2022 title conquest. With your NASCAR sports update, I'm Nicholas Velomachia.
Welcome to Hofstra Today. I'm your anchor, Amelia Sack.
And I'm your weather anchor, Natalia Swaza. We are honored to be Hofstra University's source of local and national news on campus. We are here to deliver the latest updates in weather, sports, entertainment, national news, and what's going on at and around Hofstra today.
Be sure to check us out on Select Wednesdays on the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m.
Hello and welcome back to Sports Beat. The Hofstra wrestling team is off to a strong start this season with a daunting schedule ahead. Here to break it all down is wrestling captain Ross McFarland. And we're back. Thank you for joining us, Russ.
Thank you for having me.
What's it been like working with the new assistant coaches this season?
It's been great. It sucks seeing our old coaches leave, but these new coaches, they're young and they're eager and they're willing to help us in any facet. And it's great to have a new energy in the room because I believe change is a really good thing sometimes, so I'm excited.
How does it feel to be chosen to be captain for a second year?
It's amazing. I'm very happy that that my team really looks up to me, and I'm glad that they think that I'm a great leader for them. And if you ask the team, I'm not really a vocal leader by any means, but I always keep my head down and grind, and I work hard. I just don't say much, and I hope that's why they chose me, is because they watch me work hard in the wrestling room and outside, and they really follow in my footsteps and try to work hard.
The season schedule is very tough. How important do you think it is for the team to go against such competitive opponents?
I think it's very important because towards the end of the year, postseason, nationals, and conferences, we're wrestling those big matches, those really important ones where it's close calls and the big lights. So wrestling those big teams at the beginning and throughout the season, we're acclimated to those big lights, those big matches, and so it doesn't blind us at the end of the year that we're used to wrestling that tough competition. So I think it's really, really good, and it's amazing that we're wrestling them throughout the year, so we're ready by the end of the year to beat those guys up.
What makes this season different from previous seasons for you?
Like I stated before, the coaching staff, it's new faces and new energy in the room, but it's a great energy. I love it. And for me personally, last season I missed the NCAAs by one match, so it's been daunting me since that day, but it gives me a light because I know that I can beat those guys and I can be there on the big stage. So I kind of have a chip on my shoulder that I know I can do it. So like it pushes me forward, and I know I can do it.
You touched on this earlier, but what's the environment been like with the new and returning members of the team?
It's been amazing. I mean, it's like we have a whole new roster. It's like 8, 12 new guys. So it's amazing to see these new guys, and they're stepping up really well. And I think what is really advantageous for them, why they're stepping up so well, is guys like me and even guys before me who graduated already. We developed this culture in our room and outside of our room, for that matter, where we always work the hardest, we always try our best, and we always win, and no matter what, whether it's on the mat, in the classroom, in social life, no matter what it is. So I feel like they're doing a very good job of stepping in, creating that culture, and sticking with it.
And how do your coaches and your teammates support you?
They support us greatly because, like I stated before, a lot of them are brand new. So even the guys, the coaches are all brand new, but they're so willing to give a helping hand to us, whether if it's the coaches, if they want to give us private lessons to work on specifically what I need to work on, or if it's the teammates when they have a question about dietary stuff, or if it's about schoolwork. We're all really, really close. So it's kind of like a brotherhood, kind of. They're all like my brothers. So, I mean, it's amazing. I love it.
Can you talk about the energy in the room going into your first duel on Sunday?
The energy, I mean, we're excited, especially with it being Ohio State. It's a big one. They're ranked in the top 10, so we're very, very, very excited because, like I stated before, wrestling those big teams right off the get is great for us down the line at the end of the year. So it's going to be amazing. I mean, we're very, very excited. We're looking good. We're looking strong. We're looking fast. So I'm excited, really excited.
Anything else you're looking forward to this season?
I'm excited for us to show off we work so hard every day. So, I mean, I'm excited to watch it come to fruition and go out on the mat and win and really show everybody what we're made of.
Got it. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and best of luck this season, Ross. SportsBeat will be back with more after this.
Welcome back to Sports Beat. It is time for your Hofstra Pride Top 5. We are in a beauty spot of the athletic calendar. Both fall and winter sports are going on. And let's kick it off with number 5. Hofstra men's basketball facing Princeton at the MAC. Down 8 in the second half. Darlingstone Dubar gets the pass from Jaco Fritz. A clean snatch back, gets the lucky bounce and the bucket. Dubar finished with a team high 18 points on 55% shooting from the field. Here's another look at it. Princeton's Caden Pierce stopped on a dime, but the Tigers take down the Pride 74-67 to stay undefeated on the year. Let's go to the pitch. Number 4, Hofstra men's soccer versus Delaware CAA Championship semifinals. The Pride already flying high over the Blue Hens. 4 different players touching the ball en route to Albert Kang, cutting it back and putting it bottom left for his second goal of the season. I would say you won't see many goals better than that, but stay tuned later in the top 5. Let's take another look at this beauty. It is always hard to play the European tiki-taka style of football near or even close to the penalty box, but Hofstra makes it look easy. Kang hadn't scored in over 2 months, but puts the cherry on top of a 4-1 Hofstra win. The Pride move on to the CAA Championship Finals. They will be facing Monmouth, their 4th straight appearance in the title game, and looking to three-peat as champions. If you think Hofstra's a soccer school, you'd be correct. Number 3, Hofstra volleyball facing Charleston. Tied up at 8 in the 5th set. Just when it seemed like the Pride had the point secured, Charleston had the answer. But what a bump save by Isadora Stagely. Yamor Janelle finishes the point off with the amazing kill. That is a bump, set, spike at its finest. Here's another look at it. Charleston had a great save itself, but anything you can do, I can do better. Stagely extending that arm for the save, and from there, it was business as usual for the Pride. That was Janelle's 287th kill of the year, second on the team. Hofstra ended up falling to Charleston 3-2 and missing out on the CAA tournament. Let's go to number 2 now. Hofstra women's basketball taking on Wagner, down 3 with 38 seconds to go. Sorelli Neza, a clutch 3-pointer to tie the game, ice in her veins. She did go 3 for 13 from the field, but no bucket mattered more. Pride take the 51-48 overtime victory to move to 1-1 on the year. And at number 1, we told you men's soccer is going to be making another appearance. CAA Championship Finals, Hofstra versus Monmouth, tied up at 1 in extra time. The Pride have a free kick opportunity, and Elliot Gorthorpe tucks it inside, upper right, with 4 minutes to go, an electric free kick to give the Pride a 2-1 lead. The emotion on his face tells you all you need to know. Here's the replay, takes it himself, scores his 8th goal of the year as the Pride win the CAA Championship for the 3rd straight year and book their trip to the NCAA tournament. That is your Pride Top 5. And meanwhile, we're in a cross-section of the season. Hofstra men's basketball kicked off the season with back-to-back home games. Jason White takes us through Hofstra's start to the year.
What's up, Sports Beat fans? I'm Jason White, and welcome to the David S. Mack Arena, the home of your Hofstra Pride, and more specifically, your Hofstra Pride men's basketball team. They're getting prepared for the first couple games of the season. We're actually lucky enough to not only attend some of the games, but get several player interviews. This is one you're not going to want to miss. Joined here by Jaquan Carlos, one of the new upcoming leaders of the Hofstra Pride. Now, speaking of that, going into this season, there's some pretty big shoes to fill on this team. How do you feel now kind of having to step into that role and lead the Pride this season?
Definitely feel confident, and I feel like my teammates feel confident in me, and we're confident in each other, and we know what we have to do, and we got to take the 6th state.
We don't give any easy shots to anybody, and in order to do that, we all have to be connected on the floor at all times. And I think having a veteran group coming back, 5 guys that have been here before, really helped us do that, and we're going to be ready for whoever's next.
So Coach Claxton in this offseason, I'm sure, has tried to keep this team really tight, build you guys up. What is it like to have him as the head coach of this team for another season and to be the guy leading the charge here for the Pride?
I think that, it's something that all of us players buy into. He's a great role model. Like, he's been down this road before, and a lot of the players really resonate that, and we respect him for that. So I think that's, made our ability to really listen to him and, to buy into his system. I think that's what made it work, and we're going to continue to do that.
just gotta focus on ourselves. Do what we do, whoever we play against. It's always about us, and then go from there on. Be loud, be with each other, be together. Yeah. It's gonna be an exciting one, a close one, and I guess the best will come out on top.
I think we have to come out and be the physical team and communicate, and then our offense is going to take care of itself. We're just going to come out and play as hard. We're going to be the same team we was last year and just be tough, and we're going to dominate off defense.
And finally, any message for the fans back home?
Just come out and support, man. We're going to go real far this year. It was definitely good energy, having the kids just going crazy, helping us with our first win, and just the game period, everybody getting the well-shared minutes and everybody getting the feel of how I feel on the college court.
We had the opportunity to be able to come out here, bring the kids out here, and I thought it was a really cool opportunity. The kids last year talk about it still all the time too. They're now 6th graders and they still bring it up. So to be able to bring the 5th grades out here, it's a lot of fun. I had a couple of my girls go out there and do the halftime interview. I thought it was really cool. We had them come out on the court in the past, some of the players coming over and, saying hi. So I think that's just something so cool to be able to kind of connect that. It brings, the kids and the players together, and it's a really cool experience that you never forget.
Our school is really enjoying our time here at the Hofstra basketball game. They have been cheering almost the whole time. They've been having their own chants. They've been doing go defense. They've been going go offense. It's just really been really interactive and really fun. Our school is really, really happy that we were able to have this partnership with Hofstra and be able to bring our students here to get them outside, get them learning about not only men's basketball, but also staying fit and healthy, which is part of our physical education curriculum. And we've just been enjoying our time here.
It was awesome just to be here, all the little kids in the stands, being loud, great environment, be with the team, ready for the first official game day. So that was awesome. Looking forward to the rest of the games, rest of the year. It's going to be an exciting one.
The most important thing is making sure that everybody is bought into what we're trying to do. I think that when we play together as a team, defensively, offensively, in any way we can on the court, I think that's what sets us apart from other teams, and that's how we really become a championship program.
Tonight we have good vibes. It's a packed crowd. Energy is very, very high. I'm excited as a cheerleader to be cheering on the Pride, especially since we lost Aaron Estrada this year. A little brutal, but go Pride,
This is actually my first time cheering a basketball game. I used to cover basketball games, but now I'm really enjoying it. It's like another extension to basketball. I love it. It's so much fun out here. It's a great environment.
Well, fans, we got to learn a whole lot about the team. We got to take a look into this upcoming season. As you heard, they need you to pack the MAC. So fans, you better be able to pack up all these rows and come here and cheer on your Hofstra Pride basketball team. Again, that was just a look at their first week, as they have a whole season ahead. And I'm sure you're going to want to watch, as it will be some very entertaining basketball. For Sports Beat, I'm Jason White.
Thank you to Jason for that report. Hofstra basketball is beginning. Soccer is hunting for a championship. Here's Michelle Rabinovich with your Pride Weekly update.
Thanks, Yao. Hofstra's campus is buzzing right now as the fall season concludes and the winter season starts up. So let's get right into the action. On Sunday, the women's basketball team travels up to Connecticut to take on the Pioneers of Sacred Heart. Grad student Sorel Ineza has gotten up to a strong start this year, averaging 12 points per game, including a game-tying three-pointer that propelled Hofstra to an overtime win against Wagner. Back in Hempstead, after winning their third consecutive CAA championship last Saturday, the men's soccer team earned a national seed in the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history. The 14th-seeded Pride secured a first-round bye and will face the winner of Bryant and Yale in the second round of the tournament on Sunday. Across the street, wrestling matches up against the Ohio State University in the first solo match of the year. Captain Dylan Ryder will look to build off his second-place finish at the Fall Journeyman Classic. Ryder impressed in his first action since the 2021 season, earning 2 match wins at the Invitational. Finally, men's basketball takes a trip down south for 3 games in the 2023 Gulf Coast Showcase. On Monday, Hofstra will square off against the Buffalo Bulls. Preseason first-team All-CAA guard Tyler Thomas has set the tone for the Pride thus far, leading the team in points. For more information on schedules, live streams, and more, visit GoHofstra.com. Sports Beat will be right back after this quick commercial break.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to Sports Beat. We end tonight with our Hofstra Pride Athletes of the Month, Dylan and Mikey, back with me at the desk. Dylan, we are only halfway through November, but who stuck out in your mind?
You know I'm going with a member of the back-to-back CAA champions. I'm going with their backstop, their goalkeeper, Wessel Spiel. Some would be quick to point to those guys up front scoring all the goals in that CAA tournament, but Hofstra only conceded 2 goals in the entire CAA tournament, only penalty kicks. Wessel Spiel set the table for the big dogs to eat.
I'm taking the guy who had #1 play in our Pride top 5, Elliot Goldthorpe. You talk about clutch, you talk about what we play for. We play to see goals like that. Ultimate moment, ultimate goal, ultimate shot. You can't not put the most clutch shot, the guy who made the most clutch shot at #1.
The most clutch shot in Hofstra history? Perhaps? Look, it's Listen, the old saying goes, offense sells tickets, but defense wins championship. But I'm gonna have to go with Elliot Goldthorpe. Look, scoring matters when it comes to NCAA. When it comes to the NCAA tournament, they avenged a loss earlier in the season, and Hofstra doesn't really get any clutcher than that. When you look at Elliot Goldthorpe, the fact that he didn't surround the ball with 3 players, he rightfully deserves the Hofstra Pride Athlete of the Month, and he was the CAA Player of the Year. That means something coming from me.
Absolutely. I mean, Wessel Spiel, first team All-CAA defense, but obviously the goals are what sell the tickets. Those are what put the butts in the seats, so it's a sound pick for me as well.
Look, that is the Hofstra Pride Athlete of the Month, but looking ahead to basketball, Tyler Thomas is obviously supposed to be the guy. The lights seemed a bit bright in the first 2 games of the season, but Dylan, what is your assessment of Tyler Thomas so far?
Well, look, people very quickly forget. This is a team that went on a bit of a rough stretch in November and December last season, won on a 2-6 stretch. I don't think it's time to sound the alarm quite yet. I am more than happy with Tyler Thomas being the go-to guy on a winning basketball team.
I completely agree with everything you just said. I think it's a long season. There's a lot of things to come, and from the sample size that we have, I think there's a lot to believe and a lot of reason to believe that good things are to come.
Look, Dylan, you are everybody's favorite young college basketball mind. Hofstra, the disappointing loss early on in the season. What is your assessment of the Pride as a whole so far, real quick?
Again, I think going back to last year, looking at the way they played during that 2-6 stretch, there's no time at all to sound the alarm quite yet. This is a team that won 25 games and a CAA championship. After that rough stretch in the beginning of the season, I think that things are going to turn out just fine as they're going to learn to play without their 2-time Conference Player of the Year, Aaron Estrada.
Dylan, Mikey, thank you guys so much. And that'll do it for us tonight on Sports Beat, but there are many thanks to go around. Before we go, our panelists this evening were Dylan Brett and Mikey Dent. Michelle Rabinovich, Nick Cavello-Macchia brought you your updates around the world of Hofstra and NASCAR. A special thank you to Ross McFarland for taking the time to sit down with us in studio with Olivia Hillstad. And finally, Jason Wyke brought you through an eventful opening week for men's basketball. I'm your host, Yao Bonsu. Thank you so much for spending your night with us and joining us for our last episode of the semester on December 13th. Until then, remember to always roar with pride. Please. It's tradition.